The National Electrical Code, or NEC, mandates arc fault circuit interrupter, or AFCI, protection for bedroom circuits. Specifically, NEC Section 210.12b states that all 120-volt single-phase 15 and 20-ampere branch circuits supplying outlets installed in dwelling unit bedrooms must be protected by a listed AFCI circuit breaker or other approved device. This requirement applies without differentiating between new and existing installations during major renovations or when alterations are made to the branch circuit. The primary purpose of AFCI protection is to mitigate the risk of electrical fires caused by arc faults. Arc faults are unintentional electrical discharges that can occur due to damaged wiring, loose connections, or other insulation failures. These faults generate heat, which can ignite nearby combustible materials, leading to a fire. The AFCI breaker is designed to detect these arc faults and quickly interrupt the circuit, preventing the fire from starting. The NEC emphasis on AFCI protection in bedrooms stems from the fact that bedrooms are often occupied during sleeping hours, making occupants more vulnerable to fire hazard. Furthermore, bedrooms tend to have a higher concentration of flammable materials, such as bedding, clothing, and furniture, increasing the potential for a fire to spread rapidly. It's critical to understand the scope and exceptions within NEC Section 210.12b. Firstly, the rule applies to 120-volt single-phase 15 and 20-ampere branch circuits. This means that it primarily covers standard residential circuits used for lighting, receptacles, and small appliances. Secondly, circuits must be those that supply outlets installed in dwelling unit bedrooms. The term outlets includes receptacles, lighting fixtures, and other points where electrical power is drawn. Thirdly, the protection must be provided by a listed AFCI circuit breaker or other approved device. A listed device is one that has been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories, or UL, to meet specific safety standards. There are limited exceptions to the AFCI protection requirement. For example, circuits that supply only smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, or emergency lighting are typically exempt. This is because these devices are considered essential for life safety and should not be subject to nuisance stripping by the AFCI breaker. Additionally, there may be specific exceptions for certain types of existing installations, such as those with metallic conduit or cable systems that provide inherent arc fault protection. However, these exceptions are narrowly defined and should be carefully evaluated by a qualified electrician. The installation of AFCI protection should always be performed by a qualified electrician who is familiar with the NEC requirements and local codes. The electrician will ensure that the AFCI breaker is properly installed, wired, and tested to verify its functionality. It is also important to note that AFCI breakers can sometimes be prone to nuisance stripping, especially in older homes with existing wiring issues. Nuisance stripping occurs when the AFCI breaker trips even though there is no actual arc fault. This can be caused by various factors such as shared neutral wiring, ground faults, or electromagnetic interference. If nuisance tripping is a persistent problem, a qualified electrician can troubleshoot the circuit and identify the underlying cause. In some cases, it may be necessary to replace the AFCI breaker with a different model or to make modifications to the wiring to eliminate the source of the interference. The NEC is updated every 3 years, and it's important to stay current with the latest edition to ensure compliance. The AFCI requirements have evolved over time, and there may be changes or clarifications in each new edition. Consulting with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector can help to interpret the code and apply it correctly to specific situations. Furthermore, local jurisdictions may have additional requirements or amendments to the NEC. It is essential to check with the local building department or electrical inspector to determine the specific regulations that apply in a given area. Ignoring or neglecting the NEC requirements for AFCI protection can have serious consequences. Failure to install AFCI breakers in bedrooms can increase the risk of electrical fires, potentially leading to property damage, injuries, or even fatalities. Additionally, non-compliance with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, or legal liabilities. In summary, the NEC mandates AFCI protection for all bedroom circuits in new construction and major renovations. This requirement applies regardless of whether the installation is new or existing. The purpose of AFCI protection is to mitigate the risk of electrical fires caused by arc faults. The NEC Section 210.12b specifies the details of the AFCI requirements, including the types of circuits that are covered and the approved devices that can be used. There are limited exceptions to the AFCI protection requirement, such as for circuits that supply smoke alarms or carbon monoxide alarms. The installation of AFCI protection should always be performed by a qualified electrician. Staying current with the latest edition of the NEC and checking with local authorities are essential for ensuring compliance. Failure to comply with the AFCI requirements can have serious consequences, including increased risk of electrical fires and legal liabilities. AFCI technology has improved significantly over the years, making it more reliable and less prone to nuisance tripping. Modern AFCI breakers are designed to distinguish between actual arc faults and normal circuit conditions, reducing the likelihood of false alarms. Some AFCI breakers also incorporate ground fault protection, providing an additional layer of safety against electrical shock hazards. It is crucial to select the appropriate type of AFCI breaker for the specific application. There are several different types of AFCI breakers available, each with its own characteristics and limitations. For example, branch circuit AFCI breakers are designed to protect the entire branch circuit, while outlet branch circuit AFCI breakers are designed to protect only the portion of the circuit downstream from the outlet. The selection of the appropriate AFCI breaker should be based on the specific wiring configuration and the potential hazards present in the circuit. Regular testing of AFCI breakers is recommended to ensure their continued functionality. AFCI breakers typically have a test button that can be used to simulate an arc fault and verify that the breaker trips properly. The test button should be pressed periodically, such as monthly or quarterly, to ensure that the AFCI breaker is working as intended. If the AFCI breaker fails to trip when the test button is pressed, it should be replaced immediately. It is also important to visually inspect AFCI breakers for any signs of damage or deterioration. If the breaker is cracked, burned, or otherwise damaged, it should be replaced immediately. The proper maintenance of AFCI breakers is essential for maintaining their effectiveness and ensuring the safety of the electrical system. In addition to AFCI protection, other electrical safety measures should also be implemented to reduce the risk of electrical fires and shocks. These measures include the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in wet locations such as bathrooms and kitchens, the proper grounding of electrical equipment, and the use of surge protectors to protect against voltage spikes. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Homeowners, contractors, and electricians all have a role to play in ensuring that electrical systems are installed and maintained safely. By working together and following the NEC requirements, we can create a safer environment for ourselves and our families. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector before making any changes to your electrical system. Furthermore, remember that electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by qualified individuals who are familiar with the NEC requirements and safety procedures. When working with electricity, always turn off the power at the main breaker before touching any wires or components. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Never work alone, and always have someone nearby who can provide assistance in case of an emergency. Electricity is a powerful force that can be both beneficial and dangerous. By understanding the NEC requirements and following safe work practices, we can harness the power of electricity safely and efficiently. Arc fault circuit interrupters are a crucial component of modern electrical safety systems, providing enhanced protection against electrical fires. Remember to prioritize electrical safety in your home and workplace. By taking the necessary precautions and following the NEC requirements, you can reduce the risk of electrical hazards and protect yourself and others from harm.